Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to All Things Fab Kitchen. Today, I'm going to make some cinnamon puffs. If you're just joining us live today, this is All Things Fab. I'm going to be making some very, very delicious cinnamon puff, and they're going to be very lovely. So there are a few ingredients we will need. The first, very most important one is the yeast. And there are two types of yeast. There's the dried active yeast, which I'm not going to use today. If you're going to use the dried active yeast for this recipe, you will need to, first of all, put it in warm water and allow it to do its magic for about 10 minutes before you use it. And there's the other type of yeast, which says the easy bake yeast. This one, you can just throw it right into the baking and it would use straight away. You don't need to wait 10 minutes at all. So we'll be using the easy bake yeast today. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Please remember to click the like button and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. So the first thing I'll need for these ingredients will be 1 cup of water. It's about 250 mils of water. Throw that straight into my bowl. And then I'll be using exactly 3 scoops of granulated sugar. Also, to that, we'll add a tiny little, about a 1/4 teaspoon, tiny pinch of salt. Just mix that for a minute or so. To these, I will add 1 heaped teaspoon of cinnamon. Very lovely, gives it a very great flavor. And I'll also be grating in just a 1/4 nutmeg. I absolutely love nutmeg in my cinnamon puffs. It smells absolutely beautiful. The whole house would be smelling so much of lovely, freshly baked puffs in a minute. So that should do. It's about a 1/4 of nutmeg. And we'll stir these together. And for our very last ingredient, this is 450 grams of self-raising flour. Add that straight in. And like I said earlier, we'll be needing 1 tablespoon of easy bake yeast. That goes in straight away. That doesn't need to rise for 10 minutes. So once that's in, you'll have to mix it all together. Mix it all together. I wish you can smell it from here. It smells so cinnamony and nutmeggy. And it smells so beautiful. Hello, Davina. I can hear you. Thank you for joining us today, Davina. This recipe is so perfect for tea. So if you want to have a nice little afternoon tea on a Saturday, it's so beautiful. And that's it. So basically you'd mix it until there's no lumps or anything like that. That looks absolutely perfect. Now, once you've done that, you can see the consistency. It's just nice and ready to rise. So I'll pick up a cling film. Oh, I've got someone joining me from Spain. Noir. Thank you so much for joining me today. What time is it in Spain right now? I definitely like to double cover this to give it maximum heat. So this way I'm sure it would rise. So you need to cover this with a cloth and allow it to rise for 1.5 hours. So we'll keep that aside for now. Now here's one I made earlier today. This is one I made earlier today. I made this around 10 o'clock in the morning. If you can see, it's very nicely risen. So if you leave your dough for about 1.5 or 2 hours or so, it would rise properly, so nicely risen. So that dough was about half of this before, but now it's really beautifully risen. So that's ready to fry immediately. So I'm going to be frying that right away. Okay. Oh, thanks for joining us, Davina. Thank you so much. So I'll get my stove ready. Just make sure it's not too hot and not too cold. I think I'd reduce it to about 2.5 or 3. Should be just right. I've been heating this oil up for about 5 minutes now. And I'm going to test to see if it's ready. But first of all, you want to take your prepared dough and take out all of the airy bubbles inside. So this has been rising up for about 2 hours. If you can see that, nice and stretchy. Look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just beautiful. And it smells so cinnamony and beautiful. So what I like to do is to remove all the air inside. Just break it down. It goes down straight away. Removes all the air inside of it. So this is beautifully risen. So all of the yeasts, the tablespoonful of yeast that we put inside had done its magic, and it's ready to be fried right away. So I'll wash my hands quickly. And using your fingers, just take a little dough just to do a quick test. You want to taste to see if the oil is ready for frying. Drop it right into the oil. Yeah, I think that's all right. So once you're sure, you just do a quick taster to see if the oil is ready to fry. I always like to do one taster. That way you know you can check to see if the oil is a bit too hot or a little bit too cold. I've got some spectators watching me right now and they're just rubbing their hands and they can't wait to taste the first one. Don't worry, it's coming soon. It's gorgeously delicious. I think I might increase the light to about 4. So you just need it to fry slowly because you don't want it to be too dark. You need it to be nice and golden brown at the end. So once we know that's nice and ready, I'm going to begin to put the rest of the puffs into the hot oil. So just take a little bit in your hands and drop it straight into the oil. And again, the tiny little dough. That's it. Straight into the oil. If you're just joining us, welcome to All Things Fab. We're just making some cinnamon puffs, which we'll be using for some afternoon tea today. That should naturally puff up on its own. Otherwise, you can just help to raise it up. Don't want to overfill the oil or the pan. I think one more can go in there. So one more drop right there. Or perhaps another one in that hole right there. That's it. That's looking good already. That's it. So did you remember the first taster we put in place? That looks like it's nice and golden, so we should be bringing that out first. Hello, if you're just joining us, welcome to All Things Fab. Oh my God, we've got someone from India. Welcome. We're making some cinnamon puffs today. You just want to keep rolling that around over and over. This will make the perfect tea. This will make the perfect afternoon tea. Just let it go nice and golden brown. It's a very simple recipe you can share with the whole family. There's some people here just waiting to eat this. It is absolutely gorgeous. And once this is ready, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some cinnamon sugar to go with this. So it's going to be a combination of sugar and cinnamon, and I'll drizzle that on top. It's going to be so beautiful. You just need to taste it. I hope you can try this at home. Wherever you are, in Spain, in India, in London, America, New York, wherever you are joining us this morning, just get some flour and yeast and sugar, cinnamon and some nutmeg and get on cooking with us this morning. It's beautiful. You can also add a bit of honey on top if you want to. It's totally optional. Thank you for joining us, Venancio. Thank you for joining us, Davina. Thank you to all of you for joining us today. So we're making some cinnamon puff. This look nice and golden. And that first tester is ready to get out. So I'll just take some tissue in a plate and I'll just place it in here just to drip out the excess oil. Whatever excess oil we have in there. that can go. Just keep turning it around and around just to make it nice and evenly golden on all sides. It's absolutely gorgeous and perfect afternoon tea. Can you see the color of that? That is just beautiful. I'll let it fry for another 30 seconds or so, and it should be ready. And that looks nice and golden and perfectly ready. So I'm going to take it all out, strain it into a plate that I've put a towel paper on. Right there. And set that aside. So we'll put the next batch in. Wash my hands again and just take a bit. So if you're just joining us, this has been rising for about 2 hours. So once it's risen, you just need to take a bit with your hand, just like that, and drop it straight into the hot oil. Make sure the oil is not too hot and not too cold. So drop it straight into the oil. Take some into the oil. And just repeat the entire process again. It should naturally pop off by itself. That's why I call them cinnamon puffs, because you add cinnamon and it smells so gorgeous. Can't wait to have my tea this afternoon. Just continue dropping it straight into the oil. So if you go into your kitchen right now, I bet you have some flour and yeast and a bit of sugar and cinnamon. You can start baking this along with me. I think that's just enough. So we'll leave this for now for another batch. Wash my hands again. Keep turning it around to make sure it's evenly brown on all sides. I'd say this should normally take about 2 to 3 minutes on very low heat to be nicely golden on all sides. So depending on the heat and the kind of heat and temperature you're using, I'd say between 2 to 3 minutes, because you want it to be properly fried and cooked on the inside as well as on the outside. If the oil is a bit too hot, what you'd notice is it would be nice and golden on the outside, but it will still be a bit wet on the inside. So you want to really make sure that you cook it on a low heat to make sure that it's nice and cooked all round. Oh, we've got Cynthia joining us. Hello, Cynthia. Thank you so much for the compliments. Thank you for joining us today. I am so sorry I can't, my hands are busy. I can't type and reply to you, but thank you. I can see your comments. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Venancio. Thank you, Davina. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you to the gentleman from India, to the lady from Spain. Thank you all for joining us. So this is cinnamon puffs. You can definitely play back the video from the beginning once this ends, and it's going to end in about 10 minutes from now, not too long. So we made the dough and we're just frying them, and it's going to be perfect for tea time. This looks nicely golden, and I think they'll be ready in about 30 seconds from now. I'll give it another 30 seconds and it should be perfectly ready. Oh, hello Yolanda. Thank you for joining us. I hope you can all try out this recipe. I've put all of these ingredients, I've actually put them on my description box below. So if you check the description box below, you will see all of the ingredients that I've used today. It's all written down there. Now this looks nice and golden and perfect for tea. That's absolutely ready. So I'll take these out, strain them out, and set them aside. Just like that. Right there. I'll wash my hands again just to get it nice and wet. Put the next batch in by just taking a little bit from your hand and drop it straight into the oil. It should give you a nice little semicircle. Drop it right in there. Straight into the oil. If you missed the beginning of this, just play it back later on when you have a bit of time and you would see how we started the whole recipe. You'd need to keep the dough to rise for about an hour and a half or 2 hours maximum. And then you can fry them nice and puff. It just puffs and it's beautiful. Hello Jermaine, thank you for joining us today. Thank you all for joining us. Just throw them all into the oil. I think that's enough. You don't want to overcrowd the oil, just to give it enough space to fry evenly. Just turn that around over and over. Make sure it's nicely cooked all around. So what I'm going to do is put this aside to continue frying. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare my sugar, cinnamon sugar. So for the cinnamon sugar, this is what we need. You need about 2 or so tablespoons of granulated sugar. And you need a teaspoon of cinnamon. And all you need to do is to mix it up. Mix this together. Like that. So what you have is this nice and golden sugar mixed with cinnamon. That would be perfect to sprinkle on top of the puffs in a minute. So I'm going to take the last puffs out because I think they're ready. They're frying for a few minutes. So these have been frying for a bit. And I think they're perfectly ready right there. So we'll just strain them like we did to the others. Put them straight into the prepared bowl. And that's perfectly fine. So that's all ready. Let's take this away, out of the way, and get ready to serve. Can I have the hot water, please? I want to make a cup of tea. So it's time for tea. That was a very quick and easy tea time special. All you need to do is let's have a quick setting. I'll just set these in my plate, just like that. Don't know if you can see it. I'll push it forward just to make sure you're seeing properly. So just set your cinnamon puffs in your plate. Everyone, the whole family is waiting to eat. It smells so gorgeous. You have to taste it. You absolutely cannot live your entire lifetime without having one of these. They are so simple and easy to make. Just put that on the table, make tea, and the whole family gathers around to enjoy this yumminess. It's just simply delicious. I can't even explain it further than that. So that is nice and ready. Just give a quick clear up. What I like to do before using the cinnamon sugar is just drizzle on a little bit of icing sugar on the top. So I'll get my icing sugar and just drizzle a little bit like that. Just a tiny bit. You don't need a lot at all. Drizzle a little bit of icing sugar like that on the top. Just like that. Nice and easy. Simple. So I'll give it a quick little wipe just so you can perfectly see. So tea time is ready. That's it. Normally I'll use I'll take one little bite, dip it in the cinnamon sugar, or you can simply open it up like that. Look at that. It's perfectly beautiful. Give it a little dip in the cinnamon sugar and that tastes so good. Absolutely perfect. Hello, Venancio. Thank you for joining us today. Hello, Yolanda. Thank you for all your lovely comments. So I was making, like I was saying earlier on, these are some cinnamon puffs. I'm going to try and zoom the camera in a little bit so you can see much better. That is our cinnamon puff, and that is the cinnamon sugar to go with it. Absolutely gorgeous. So if you want to try out this recipe, don't forget to check. All the ingredients will be in the description bar below. Make yourself a nice cup of tea. Can I have some milk, please? I like to have Earl Grey tea with my cinnamon puffs. They're so beautiful. So a tiny drop of milk in my tea. That would do. And believe me, in no time at all, the whole family is right here ready to join in this deliciousness. Cheers to you all. Hello, Darren. I've been told we have a new person visiting us today. Hi, Darren. Thank you for joining us. If you don't know Darren, Darren does lovely garden and home decor. I'm just such a huge fan. Thank you, Darren, for joining us today. We're making some cinnamon puffs. I think you missed it earlier. So if you go back and play back, and you would see all the recipes is in all the ingredients as well is in the description bar below. So I'll give you a little taster. I just fried this fresh this morning. It's nice and cinnamony, so beautiful. I made this lovely cinnamon sugar. You dip it in and just have a bite. It's a little taste of heaven. Go on then, have some. That's nice. So I hope you can try this recipe out. Thank you all so much for visiting us today. That would be all for today. So here's your cinnamon tea. Lovely cinnamon. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to press the like button and also subscribe. I'll see you again next time when we do a live cooking or baking. Goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.